Hey guys, Rachel Joy over here at Joyful Derivatives. Coming at you live tonight, doing some reader Q&A, and then I'm gonna give you a little sneak peek at the dining room project that we have going on. I'm really excited. It's coming along so well, and we're trying to get most of the guts of it done by by this week or next, so that my husband can work really hard on getting the dining room table built, because there's so much to do when it comes to that. So yeah, I wanted to I usually do 3 reader Q&As on these Monday Night Lives, but I decided tonight I'm gonna review one, but I have a ton of answers and a ton of content to go with it, so it'll be plenty long in and of itself. And then I definitely wanna give you a tour of the dining room. So yeah, I think we'll get started. My question tonight is, what tips do you have for decorating a small living room? And I mean, obviously that's a huge task as far as being really purposeful in the pieces that you choose and the layout that you put together. Hi, Chris. And so I wanted to just give you a couple of the things that I think about when I'm decorating a small space. By a couple, I mean like 10, so there's plenty of things to review. The first one I would say, and I've done this in our family room, is to hang mirrors. They're a really great tool for making the space feel larger than it is. We have 3 large window mirrors. In fact, here, I'll walk over and show you. In our family room, because we don't have a huge house. I mean, it's 1,400 square feet. But for us, and we host all the time, making sure we have functional spaces is really important. So here, I'll show you guys. It's not at all clean. I didn't really plan on showing you this room, but I'll show you what we have in the family room here. So this is our fireplace. I'm sure you've seen pictures of that before, but over here on a wall where I really feel like there should be windows, there aren't. So I chose to put in these fun little window mirrors. So you can see the space feels like it continues on because you're seeing the reflection of the kitchen back here, but obviously it doesn't. So that's one of my biggest tips for making the space feel larger. One of them is to use mirrors. Another one is to use, here, I'll turn this back around, neutral curtains, as you can see. Neutral curtains that go all the way to the ceiling will make this space feel larger also, because they kind of blend in and they're not like blocky and focused. Instead, they just give more space. So that's a really good thing you can try if you have a small living room and you want it to feel larger. All the way to the ceiling makes the ceiling feel higher, obviously giving you larger space feel, and then using neutrals makes it blend in and makes the space feel larger than it is. Another one I like to say is either use small scale furniture like a small sofa or a couple small chairs, or use one large sectional or large piece of furniture tucked into maybe the one corner you have in that room. If you use smaller pieces, obviously the space is going to feel larger. And if you only have one small space to fill, a sectional is really great because it'll seat a lot of people, but in the visual context, it feels like just one piece of furniture. So the space will actually feel bigger because it doesn't feel cluttered. There's just one large piece of furniture, and that can be really helpful. Another thing I would say, let's see, multifunctional pieces. So there's a lot of like garden stools you can get that can be a side table, but if you need extra seating, they can be a stool, or a coffee. Maybe you have an ottoman that you can put a tray on so that it can be functioning like a coffee table would. Those are really great ways to make use of a small amount of space. Obviously having pieces or storage, you know, if you buy those little square ottomans that have storage in them, you can store things in them, as well as those things can be sat like in front of a fireplace or in spaces where you may not feel like you could put obviously a large chair, but something little that could be multi-purpose and, you know, storage or a side table or a chair, all of those things. Those are really great ways to maximize your space using, you know, purchasing something or using something that has lots of function. We have, one of the things we've chosen to do in our family room, because we have young kids, is use a sofa table behind the sofa, and then not have a coffee table, because our kids love to run and play and sit on bean bags, and a coffee table just isn't really functional for us at this point. So in a small space where maybe you don't have a huge room where you can have room to play and room to sit on beanbags and a coffee table, you could do a sofa table behind the couch for people to put their drinks or their food on or their remote or whatever it is you would put on a coffee table anyway. But instead it's behind the sofa, so you're kind of maximizing that space out in the middle of the room. I have a tutorial on the blog for a super easy DIY sofa table. We built ours so that it could be the exact length of our table or our couch, because we have a longer couch from IKEA and we had this awesome reclaimed wood and we're like, why not make a table out of it? So of course my engineer husband just whipped it up, and then I put the tutorial on the blog so y'all can make one yourselves. Yeah, another thing we do all the time is install built-ins, things like window seats or even storage, these kind of things. Well, I guess that's not really a good view. We've got our window seat here in the dining room. Those are great ways to have beautiful but yet functional space being used. You can do built-ins all around your TV, and then that whole wall can be used versus just the space where you have your entertainment center and your TV. So, that's a really great way to maximize storage space in a small living room. Another thing I saw online, which is really fun, I've never done it, is to buy the clear acrylic furniture, so a side table or a coffee table. So when you visually look into the room, you don't see the coffee table, but it's there. It was kind of interesting. I know that they're really popular and you can get them online pretty easily. So that would be one thing. I feel like they're slightly modern. So if your style isn't at all modern, you might stray away from the clear acrylic furniture, but it would be a fun way to have a piece of furniture but not have to deal with the visual block of like a coffee table in the middle of the room. Obviously, larger rugs make rooms feel larger. So if you don't have floor-to-floor carpeting in your living room, getting the largest rug that you can fit in there with still having about 18 inches of flooring on each side is a really good method. Lastly, I would say floating your furniture. It sounds weird, and if you don't know what that means, it means putting it in the middle of the room. But in a small space, if you can walk around the furniture rather than putting it all against the wall, sometimes that will make the conversational setting much more appealing, and it will actually make the space feel more functional because you have like a designated space for sitting and talking. And you could do sofa tables still behind, or a table against the wall and then a walkway between that sofa table and your sofa, things like that. So putting your furniture off the walls and really making it a purposed conversational seating versus putting it all against the walls and making it feel less welcoming. That would be my last tip. So I don't have a ton of stuff tonight. I mean, actually that feels like a ton of stuff, so maybe that's a big crazy lie. But I'm going to review my bullet points here as far as tips for decorating a small space, and then I'm going to give you a little tour of the dining room and the progress that we've done in our one room challenge makeover. And then lastly, I wanted to mention that today I opened up just 5 spots to do one-on-one styling sessions with me. So this is my opportunity to help you kind of discover the styles that you like and figure out how to make a cohesive plan for the decor in your home. If you go online and you look at all these Pinterest pictures and you're like, I love this and I love this and I love this, but I have no idea how to make that happen in my home. These are the opportunities for you to chat with me. We could come up with a game plan. We can identify exactly what it is you love about each of those pictures and how we can make it real in your home. So I put a link in my profile to my calendar. Again, there's only 5 spots open, and I want to make sure that you know that I'm not going to leave it open all week. I think they're going to fill up probably in the next couple days. So if you're interested, click there, see if there's a time that works for you. Through the program, you get 2 half-hour calls with me. I'll email with you in between calls to make sure you're on track. I'll give you some to-dos in between our 2 calls, and all that for $150. So click the link in my profile if you're interested, and you can sign up there. And I would love to help you figure out what you want in your home. So without further ado, let me review these small space decorating tips, and then we'll tour the dining room. Okay, so hang mirrors makes it feel larger. Use small furniture like love seats or chairs rather than large sectionals, unless you have one large corner that you want to fill. And then in that case, sectionals are a great option because they make the space feel less cluttered because it's one large piece filling up the space versus lots of little pieces. Use multifunctional pieces, so storage ottomans or stools that could be a chair or an side table, or an ottoman in front of your couch that could have a tray on it for a coffee table purpose. Install built-ins, things like window seats or built-ins around the media center, the TV, so that you're using the entire space rather than just little pieces. Try invisible acrylic pieces. If you have modern style in your house, they will create nice, clear vision into the room. They won't feel clunky like they're taking up space. Try a sofa table behind the couch like we do instead of a coffee table, so you still have a place to set stuff, but it's behind the sofa rather than in front, and that frees up the space in the main middle of the room for things like we like, which is kids and bean bags and all that kind of stuff. Use neutral and tall blinds or curtains. Make sure your curtains go all the way to the ceiling. That will make your room feel taller, and then neutral will make the room feel bigger. Use a large area rug rather than a small one if you can. That will make the room feel larger. And then try floating your furniture off the walls rather than putting them all against the walls. Make it a purposeful conversational area versus an unwelcoming kind of furniture all over the place. So those are my few tips. I'll put this on Facebook with a link to my notes as well as a couple posts of mine that relate to small space decorating. And so now I'm gonna tour the dining room. Okay, so this is the entryway, which isn't that black paint lovely? We just finished this section today. I'm still planning to paint the front door something fun, but I'm not gonna show you guys what those colors look like because I want that to be maybe a secret that I keep. I asked about a blush colored door and had you guys vote on here, and I got some interesting feedback, so we'll see what I end up doing. This wall will have shiplap up to here, so that'll be shiplap wainscoting. You can see we put in closed doors here. These used to be glass. The window seat, obviously the upholstery is gonna stay the same. I got some curtains that I'm gonna hang here. I've got some new pillows I'm gonna put on it. And then these are the old doors that were on these towers. And now we're gonna close in this desk space and do, I'm gonna put some peel and stick like privacy on this glass so you can't see through them. And we're gonna put them here and it'll be a closed in storage space that can function as a desk if we really need it to, but most of the time it'll probably just be storage because we have a desk elsewhere now. Then you can see here, we're finishing up the shiplap. And we've got the half black wall. I still need to do one more coat of paint on that wall. You can kind of see it's not quite finished. Obviously, crown molding will go all the way across. Yep. Another tour back this way. Oop, don't look at my paint chips. And then over here today, I started painting the back of my hutch. I'm so excited. So I'm gonna paint the whole back of that black to go with the rest of the room. And I think the white dishes and such in front. I mean, obviously this needs to be cleaned up. Ugh, look at my cords. Oh, my daughter pulled out napkins. You know, whatever, it's all fine. So, real life in the Lang household. Okay, there you have it. A little sneak peek at the dining room and what we've got going. I'm going to sign off for tonight, but I will post this so that you guys can review it again if you want to review the small living room decorating tips. And on Wednesday, don't forget to check out the featured designers posts for the one room challenge, and then I'll post something on Thursday about mine because I'm a guest participant this season. Again, if you haven't yet, you should check out our sponsor for this season, Pillow Cubes. Their handle is just @PillowCubes, and they have some really awesome custom handmade pillow inserts. They're in Tennessee, and you place your order, and then literally like that day they go in and they start making it by hand, and then they ship it and it gets to you really fast. They're an awesome company to work with, so you should check them out. Again, that's Pillow Cubes, our sponsor this season for the One Room Challenge. So, okay, I'm gonna sign off. I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and I will talk with you soon. See you later.